Now my goal with Roundup Wiz, the WordPress plugin that's pretty much a listicle builder. We launched it, and the idea is I want to help you be able to create really long lists efficiently because you can crowdsource the content creation part of it. You can do so much with it. It's actually hard to market it because there's 10 different ways you can apply it. So I'm just going to show you how I apply it, and I'm going to introduce a new feature that I think has 10x, 20x the utility of the plugin. Custom templates is what I'll be talking about. You can see basically the last several lists, all I've been using are custom templates. Before that, it was the tool template, the website template. Now it's custom because Google users, everyone wants unique content. They want something that's different than the norm. They want something that's not templated, something that's just helpful. So if this is your first time hearing about it, why should you care about a WordPress plugin that helps you publish really long lists? Well, it's about a 1 year anniversary of when I launched a how to rank without building backlinks video tutorial. And I showed people like you that if if you're not building links or you don't want to build links anymore, how else can you rank your website? And I had this article where I talked about the top SEO agencies, and I created a case study and I showed you how we were able to rank to page one without actually building any links to our top SEO agencies page. And the way we did that is we made it a listicle, but we made it a listicle that people want to be a part of. So it's like an award listicle. We made it a listicle where you don't want to be in position 90, you want to be in the top 10, you want to be number one. And the way that people rise up the list is they have to vote. Okay? They vote, they share it on social media. People, their followers click the link, they go click on the little vote button, they get a little voting confirmation, and then off they go. So, some of like each person starts with a default of 6 or 5 votes. And then as they get published, approved for the list, we send them a little notification that says you're approved. Here's your vote sharing. It's like a specific vote sharing link. It's not just like a link to the page and then they have to find the listing. No, it's if you click this, let's go to that red eagle. You see there's the page and then there's some specific parameters outside the page. Once this page finishes loading, click vote to help me move higher up the list. Red eagle, user clicks, they get a confirmation. Maybe they stick around, maybe they don't. If you know anything about Google's algorithm, Google wants content that users engage with more than ever. Google wants content that seems like it's alive, like people are liking it, reading it, sharing it. And I mean, is there any better way to liven up your content than literally give it 10 different ways to update? You add a URL, someone adds their website to this list, there's an update. Somebody gets more votes, the order of the list updates. People are sharing. You get the idea. However, honestly, a list about the best SEO agencies, and it's got a name, it's got a logo, it's got a description. That looks pretty good. But there's actually like as a user, if they're clicking on, if they're actually googling for top SEO agency and they land on this page, they're just going to see a list of URLs. I personally don't think that's very helpful. It's not like I went and researched each one of these and like broke down like anything about them. This is just like self-submitted, pretty uninspired, you know, kind of like pretty super lazy summaries. There's no value. I think we're able to game the system here because Google doesn't really know the difference. They just see engagement. They don't know if it's, people are probably clicking this. They're not really getting much value out of it. Maybe they click on the number one listing and off they go. But for the most part, that's something I was insistent on changing for 2020 is how do we not only keep all of these amazing things that we've done with the engagement, but how do we actually make the content useful and helpful? So what I showed you there was the old list. And then what I have going on now is the new list. So this is also, it's still, I haven't done any research. I haven't used any of these services. All the agencies have self-submitted their information, but I mean, they're putting in a lot of effort into the description. And what we see here is we see the introduction. The next line, we see how big the company is, what the general pricing is. And as a user, I wanna see some real life case studies of like what the agency was able to accomplish. And I want to know what they're really good at. So we have the users self-submitting this information. Is this difficult to get all this unique content? Um, no, not at all. So the way this is all working is we're sending agencies an automated email with a form link. And that form link looks like so. It's got the agency name, the URL, it's got the summary, also very clear instructions on how you need to approach this summary. 45 word minimum. Here's what you need to talk about. Start in the third person. What type of agency are you? Are you this? Are you that? Agency size, minimum monthly retainer, your logo. And then here we talk about a notable success story. And I'm very clear with what I expect from this submission. Generic or uninspired text will not be approved. Don't link out anywhere. Just tell us what you do right here. And what is the thing that you excel most at? Be specific. Mention one specific thing. Generic responses will not be approved. Agencies see this, they submit it. If they want to be on the list, if we created something interesting enough, compelling enough for them to spend 15 minutes writing up something that they know the best, they know the best about themselves, why not let them write it, but why not guide them on what to write? Once they hit submit, it goes into our back end. So here's the list. Top SEO agencies, custom. We've had 25 submissions so far. One is pending. But this is all able to happen because the template we're using is custom templates. And I started with a blank area right here. And I created how I want the thing to look. So I have the agency name and then voting on the first row. See this? Agency name and voting. On the second section, I have two columns as well. The agency logo taking up a lot less space. We start with the agency summary. Within this, I have the settings. So I have the default text. This is where I provide some general guidelines. I have the instructions, give 2 or 3 sentences about who you serve. This is where, this is so cool. This is where, if there's a submission link, this is where you're seeing those instructions. So I'm just setting that up right in the back end. All right. And I also, I didn't do it here, but so I can show you the next one. And then we have this interesting thing here, right? We noticed in the form, you have the type of agency, you have the headcount, the monthly retainer, but in the actual text, it's not just like a list or a table. It's actually a sentence. So we have a sentence This digital marketing agency that includes SEO as an offering employs 15 people and has a minimum monthly retainer of 5,500 with an average of 45,000 USD. So this just looks like a sentence, but it was collected using a form with drop downs. And the way we put it all together is we have this section called a combination element. Here I created several fields. I said agency headcount, minimum monthly retainer, average monthly retainer, type of agency. I'm able to create either like free form text, a drop down, a number, and in the back end, I'm able to stitch it all together into a sentence. So the way this works is, let me add a column here. Once I set up these fields and I add the prefix and postfix text that I want to turn into a sentence, I drag these in the particular order that I'm interested in. So I say, I want the type of agency here, and then the next part of the sentence I drag in here, the next part of the sentence I drag in here, the next part of the sentence I drag in here. And in the front end, it renders just like a regular sentence. But on the back end, it's all dynamically created. And it's just a very thoughtful way to create content that looks custom, well researched, but gathering that data is completely automatic. And then we move on with the notable success story. Here, this time I hard code a sub header into the actual text. So it says notable accomplishments here, and you can see that that's rendering right here. And there's settings to format this as bold, what have you. Default text instructions. We do the same one more time. And on the right-hand side, I've decided to include a logo. So you can, if it's not a combination element, you're just able to create a regular custom element using this field right here. Name it however you like. You can choose from several things, image upload, it's like a drag and drop basically. So I dragged it into here like that. And then if you open these settings, there's a setting that says blend image. This blend image setting is what makes these two columns overlap. So you can see it's not like sectioned off, like there's the image on this side, the text on this side, and there's like a line that separates it. It just flows into each other and it looks well formatted. It looks like someone took the time to format it well. But really this whole thing is just completely automated. You can get, as creative as you want with this stuff. You can do some research. You can say, all right, I want to create a listicle on the best article writing service. That's what we did right here. It's a new article we're working on. And we've created like a kind of a monster template. If you look at this template, votes, agency name, pricing, and then there's a bunch of questions here. Different service tiers, how do you get started, response speed, how long does the process take, how big are the articles, on and on and on and on. And the way it renders in the front end is very similar to top SEO agencies. So let me show you that as a last example. This article is right here. And we have I need articles as the first one. We have iWriter as the second one. I was just playing around with the formatting, so I put the votes on this side. We have the pricing, all this kind of stuff. And then if someone wants, if a writing agency finds that they're not on this list, but they'd like to be on this list, they can enter their info here. And you get a notification. There's a new submission. You can review it. Or you can email. We did this research ourselves, but that's just because we didn't have the plugin ready at the time. Now, if I was doing this again, I would collect a list of 100 writing agencies. I would send them this submission link, and I would let them create my content for me. That's exactly what we did with the SEO agencies. article. You can see like here's here's our email template. We have you on our top SEO agencies list. The pages continue to rank well in Google. However, we need to improve this content. If you're interested in remaining on the list, add more details. Here's the link. Wait for the pop-up. This will help readers of the article better determine that you're the agency of choice. Ben responded. He said he's on vacation, but he'll take care of it in a few days. Right? That's 25 such emails were responded to. It's a really efficient, quick way to create amazing content, highly shareable content, content that ranks, content that updates. And SEO agencies are kind of like my target customer when it comes to Linkio. So if you put on your content marketing cap, you create articles that help your end customer. They're going to be playing around on your website. They'll be responding to your emails. Imagine what you could do with that. This has gone on long enough. So if you've already bought Roundup Whiz, which a ton of you have, and I'm grateful for that, make sure you upgrade. These new features are fantastic. I'm loving them. If you haven't, just go to roundupwiz.com. I mean, it's $30 for this super powerful thing. It's a steal. Honestly, I should raise this price. Go ahead, check it out, play around with it. Always welcome some emails, ajay@linkio.com. Thank you. Cheers.